haven't quite decided what exactly to work on in my space game, so I'm gonna actually probably fiddle around with some tile stuff. I would like to make some tiles for my lava planets or magma planets, volcanic planets, and so I'm just looking through some of my volcanic textures. I've got some simple ones that I can use. Just testing different sizes and different textures rather than building and drawing these little the textures that I use, or the tiles that I use, are 32 pixels wide by 32 pixels tall, and I don't usually draw them by hand. I do sometimes manually edit them, but I use a bunch of texture programs to make my materials, like grass and sand and rocks and stuff, and then I turn them into little 32 pixel tiles. So it's kind of a different process. Some people might do pixel art, but one of the things I tend to do is use my programs, Genetica Studio or Texture Maker, to make these little procedural textures. Some of these are from Genetica that just came with Genetica, like this one is I think is a default texture in Genetica, and some of them are just procedural textures. And then there's some that I've used and layered animated procedural. This is actually hard to see without it being animated all the way, but it's got some rippling effects to it and a glow, kind of dims and brightens and whatnot. I don't know what to call that, but in general I start with a material. I guess I should open Genetica here. But I'll start with a material and kind of work towards, what I want the base to be. So for grass or sand or whatnot, there's different techniques and different types of noise generators and stuff that you can use. Sometimes I can just pull up one of these little labs here, Noise Lab, and it just generates all kinds of different noises for making textures. And there's some specifically for, creating like growth on something. This would be good for like moss on a rock or something. And there's some that looks more like stone. That's kind of crazy detailed. So if I shrink it a little bit, you can see the marble effect, and if you add a color gradient or something to that, give it colorize node. Since I'm not going to spend time picking colors for a marble texture or something, but I can just pick a random gradient, but you can see how it applies the colors in kind of a marbly fashion. I could adjust these however I want to change the gradient. But there's also several different kinds that are good for wood. There's some that are good for, like, these look more like marbles or marble stone, but there's some for craters and plant stuff, like lichen. It's kind of more organic looking. That's a bit much because there's a lot of turbulence and detail. Put it more on high and give it a little bit more. You can kind of create different types of layers with these generators. And let me just find a material that I like. What am I in here? Something basic like some grass or something. And some of these are image based, some of them are not. I'm going to just grab something like this. And usually it's just something simple like layering some noise generator and colors. This is a bubbly noise. It gives it kind of a round, rocky texture when it's colored, and give it a color gradient to actually solidify the terrain appearance. But if I just wanted that, I don't really need the weather lab. the fractalized node kind of splits it up into smaller iterations of itself. It's hard to see with this pattern, but it's actually just shrinking this entire texture kind of like a grid, I guess, and it adds more detail because you can see that it's kind of adding these more darker areas in there. But that's not a texture I want to work with right now. Right now I've kind of started with this base grass, and here's a dark, ashy kind of volcanic texture. I do want to use one of my older textures from an older lava animation that I did, and I think that's, I don't think I can access it from here, so I have to go to my world creator. Actually, I have to dive in all these folders, go all the way to the J's. There's one isometric tiles. Which folder is this? New folder, of course. I want this little gray kind of ashy tile. So there, I've got some dark ash and some light ash. These are kind of based on the same material texture. It's just one's nice and light. I do kind of want a tile that's sort of in between magma or lava and stone, sort of like a dried lava, and I can kind of blend those in to the dark ash. Oh my gosh. So a lot of it is going to be kind of based on the sprites, I guess, or the terrain textures that I've made. Let me pull up my backgrounds. Oh, I don't have any in here. Where did I put them? There we go. Not quite going to make exactly the same color, but this, representing a desert planet, I've got some desert tiles. There's going to be red tiles for like a red planet, and of course ice and snow for snowy planets. Nothing for gas, but this kind of appearance. I've got the dark areas and then these lighter areas, so I kind of want to do a blend between some of these. This will be like a base, the base ashy area, or even this could be a part of it. I'll figure it out. I think it's going to be this tile here, and if I want to blend it into the dark one, dark ash. Oh, I gotta switch to bump render. I want 3 of these. Turn that off. Kind of kill that shading just a little bit. Blend. If I turn the shading on, this looks more like a wall than path. I don't want it to look like a wall. It's got to be kind of the same color as or same shading, lighting. That's a little better. I want to use this one. Yeah, give it a rougher edge. I'm trying to replace some of these with a thicker terrain transition, just to anything that's supposed to be a wall, which is the forests and stones and stuff. It's going to use a different terrain blend gradient here, and then I've got this ash, and I've got an inner. Actually, I want to use this one. So I'll scoot this over. I'll put these up here instead. So I've got this kind of weird ashy transition to gray. I don't know if I want to use the gray or not, actually. Well, let's swap that out and change these over. That's a bit much. Back to my textures, my volcanic terrain. Do a resize. No, I think that'll tile too much. That'll look weird. That looks kind of okay, actually. Not sure. That will kind of be repetitive. I want it to be more like this kind of. So I'm going to go in here and pull up a volcanic texture. Because I can actually, most of these, I've got the bases for over here in Genetica. I want kind of more cracks. So let's go grab that one as well. And this one's using a different kind of noise. It's using stone cracks, and that's one of these noise styles. And kind of want to change one of these and blend these two styles together. So my weather lab here. Let's see what I can change here. Colors are alright, and I'm going to change this noise probably to the stone cracks. Just up here. Get more cracked appearance. I don't want it to be this bright. Let me try swapping these two. And that's not quite enough coming through because this noise is the selection area, so only the red's coming through up here. And that's because all this noise is creating a big red patch up in the corner. So what I could do is just change my seed and see what I get. Nothing too interesting. I'd actually have to update the seed of the rest of the image generation steps. So let me try just resizing the scale of this one. Get something a bit bigger. 0.5. I always do these at 128. And kind of want more cracks. That's a little bit better. There might be too many cracks. And resize this guy. A little bit better. Kinda. I want to bring the cracks down just a little bit. Let's put it more around 20. And set the detail to high. It'll get rid of some of the smaller ones. The less detail there are, or the less detail there is here. Oh, it's because there's smaller cracks when it's at medium detail. It's like octaves, I guess, if you've ever worked with noise generators before. Kind of something more uniform will be better. It's useful to have a program with seed capability, so you can try different variations of your textures and see what works the best. Go grab that lava texture again, resize it. Should have slightly less. I kind of think I need to thicken those up a little bit. Yeah, bring my line size back up. .25, 28 might have been good. Just so I can actually see them when I shrink the texture. I don't know how often people do this kind of tile set work. It's my preferred way. It's got its own kind of look to it. It's got its own feel. It doesn't look super high quality like vector graphics or something, but or those cartoony looking graphics that people do. And it's a little bit better. It's kind of grainy. Let's bring those up just a little bit more. 35. That's a bit much. There we go, something like that. Go grab that lava tile, resize it. A little bit more red, that's kind of nice. This is still darkened. Yeah. So instead of that, let's see. A lot of this is just me experimenting. It's kind of nice. It gives it kind of like a cratery feel around the edge. And I want the inner corners. And this is the base tile, so I want to save this. Lava tile. Ash to cooling. Not sure what to call that yet. Ash to cooling lava concave. Now I can actually come back in here and test that tile set or that terraform. And actually make a new map. Just call it lava. Make it 50 by 50. Oops. That didn't work. I want it to be top down. I'll come back in here. Replace this one with my lava tile. I guess that's ash tile. I'll call it ash. And that's going to be a base. So I have something like this sand terraform that I can. Actually, I need the central tile for the lava too, which is this guy. Cooling tile, just call it cooling. And then replace this one. So I don't have to actually reset all these terraforms, I can just replace them. Ta-da! You could still roll around on this, but I think I'm going to make this into like a damage tile. And then this one, I'll change to that. So I've got my ashy platforms. I wonder if I shouldn't switch these two so that the curve is on that ash. I will fiddle with that later, but I don't need it to terraform with these tiles at the moment. So there will be tiles specifically for the lava biomes. Each biome has to have its own specific resource tile so I can have them terraform correctly to the tiles on that biome. So if I'm setting it up to work with grass, I have to have each resource set up with its own grass terrain transitions, and then for the desert I have to also set up desert transitions. Then I'm going to have to do the same thing for these lava tiles, but I've also got this animation that I want to rework. I think I can actually pull this old, I wonder if I still have the original, oh I do. I kind of want to use this tile here and this magma. So let me see what these look like if I use my other tile. Go back to my world creator, world viewer files, go all the way back down to these isometric tiles folder. I'm going to pull this one in here. So that's a little bit brighter than this one, and it'll look a little bit different, but I kind of want this more comic booky look. It kind of matches my resource tiles a little bit better. So I can try that one out. And then I want to grab my outer. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. It's almost better than that, I think. It's more indicative of the rocks that you can roll over. So I'll just resave over the old ones really quick. Oops. Yeah, this guy, you will replace the one next to it. And this one here will be my lava tile, or my cooling. Replace that with that. There we go, yeah. I like that better. That's a cooler looking hot ground, I think. And then the animation part, that's the trickiest bit. I think I've got the terrain terraforms already set up. I have to remember exactly. I think this one and this one go together, I believe. And then there is a transition between the rocks and this animated sequence here, which there's an outer and an inner. It's hard to really see, but there's rippling. It's all put together using these different kinds of masks to blend things together. And the final tiles, actually, these are made for an isometric game, so the borders have some depth to them. This is like intended to be rotated by 45 degrees counterclockwise. So these are the shadows, and this part would be the bottom. That's hard to show without pulling up my isometric project, but then there's the inner part. But these are set up correctly, I think, to just work in top down. So I can actually try those. I do need to make a liquid lava tile here. So I'll go back in here, grab my, I think it's this one that's animated. This is the liquid. There's two layers of this, I forgot. There's the liquid bit and then this inner area that, or inner lava that's hotter. Kind of transitions between the three, so I'll have to set that up. This one, I don't even remember why I did this. I don't need to set that up for this tile, so I'll just clear that for now. Actually, I can clear it this way, change that to a 1. There. And I can play with these on my map here. I'm going to make the whole entire map that one ash texture. Excuse me. Then I can draw around with the lava or the cooling rocks. These have no transitions yet, but the next step is it's a 3-part lava animation. So there's an inner layer that just kind of lines the inside corners. I'll just draw this in here for whenever I put it all together, and then that transitions into an even hotter inner area that glows and warps, so it's got some depth to it, or some, I don't know, dynamics. Wonder if I can actually just import those as they are. So there's something about animated tiles that is kind of funky. You actually have to import a terraform for every single tile that you have in an animation sequence. So I think my animations, if I highlight them all, that's about 32. So it's 16 frame animations each, 16 here, 16 here. And so you have to make 16 tiles and then import all 16 of these terraform tile sets. And that's bonkers. It will take a little while, and I'm not super focused on that at the moment. I want to make some more of these lava tiles. So I'm not sure. I've got the dark ash and the light ash. I need a stone type wall. I think I could use the same stone texture that I'm using here, which would be these two. This one is the edges, and then this is the ground here. And that might be enough. Let me grab my what is it doing? Is that dark enough? I don't know if that's dark enough. Bring those edges down just a little bit. What? Oh, that's part of the texture here. That's lightning. Okay, I thought there was something wrong with my blending terraform gradient, but there is not. So I'm going to grab these. It's kind of, I wonder if that'll fit or not. I'll just give it a go. Volcanic stone border. Volcanic stone border C. So that's the desert wall. We need one more of these. Actually, I can just copy that, paste that, go to my roofs. Copy that, paste that, and replace these with my volcanic stone. I can't scroll fast enough. Where are my V's? Oh, I did something incorrect. I need this one. That's a different size gradient, so the corners are wrong. There we go. And we'll do the same for these. Place with volcanic stone. Instead of grass, I want it to be the ash. And what was this one? I don't know why I have that here. I don't think I need that here. And I can just copy paste these. Always forget that I can do this. Just paste. Back over here, copy that one, and paste that one. I should have this rock texture that I can use. Actually, I need to set up the roof. Volcanic. Change that to the volcanic roof. I'll move things around eventually to organize my tiles, and that will mess things up, and then I'll have to redo a bunch of stuff. And I want that off. I can draw with the rocks on here. I want to know, why is my transition there so strange? It's giving me some kind of border around the outside, and that's not what I'm used to seeing. They're supposed to be kind of blended together. Huh. Not sure. Well, it's got some kind of lighter border around. Doesn't look too bad. Where's my corner? Why is that corner missing? I'm supposed to be using this bottom piece here. Not sure why it looks so different. I guess it is, it's just dark. Let's see, you can, if you ever have to manually edit one of these, just make it a little bit bigger. It's just about the same shading anyway. Shoot. So the center tile here in 001 is actually made out of these four corners. Well, that's not any better, but that'll have to do. Probably very few cases where I won't have a corner like that. I want to be able to design each of the planets to have like different kinds of terrain shapes using these simple tiles, just to kind of simplify things for myself, but there will be different kinds of things more bumps and lines on some planets, more shapes or more rocks, more forests on lush worlds. I still have to also come up with some objects like trees and stuff. I might want these, I kind of want these to be a little bit darker. Let's just pull this lovely little texture here. And I'll give that a test. It's a bit dark. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, yeah, kind of like that. Go and replace these. It's got more of the feel that I want for a volcanic biome. I want it to be dark black. They're still gonna, I think I'm still gonna use some kind of stones, light stones, but for the borders I'd rather use this darker texture, darker material. So I'm going to save this one as volcanic stone tile. I'm not very organized with my folders, so I've got a whole ton of images in this one folder. I'll eventually get around to fixing that. So we'll go grab these just to test them out. I like that. And I can copy paste this over here and over here. And grab the inner or convex. And voila! Yeah. There we go. That's kind of nice. Lava's a bit bright, but I'm going to fix that up when I have the animations. And this, I want to replace that. So now I know that I'm putting these volcanic walls in. I'll have planets with these different kinds of terrain shapes on them, like magma tunnel tubes or lines and pools of lava in different places. I want to try things with different kinds of animations for like acid pools and stuff. Acid pools, oceans. I've got water animation that I haven't actually imported or set up yet, but animating these, it's a tedious process of importing all of these layers. So I've got my rock wall. I can get rid of these. I'm not going to use these right now. I can always remake them thanks to my beautiful collection of little templates. I want a copy of these. So just drag these back in here. There's my walls. And no. And then I need some kind of dirt or pathway tile for this. And that'll probably be a lighter texture. Or I can even use a brown. So I just pull up one of these substance lab based textures, give it a different seed or some such. And the weather lab adds more depth, layers to it. You can sort of see them change. It's got these grooves. And if I want, I can come back in here, change the type. That's using a turbulence noise. If I wanted to use cracks and make it like rocks again, I can change it into cracks. It's hard to see because there's more depth from the previous noise, but let's go ahead and see. It's using, what is it using for the input? Kind of rocky. I want more of dirt. Say that is volcanic dirt. Do a pixel resize. I've got this kind of dirt texture I can plop in here. Turn off my darkening layer. It's a bit messy for dirt. Can I use my transition dirt? No, sir, cannot. Or need like a darker, less busy texture for the dirt. Not quite. And I have so many textures to go through. It's kind of absurd. Might be some in my lunar textures folder. Kind of a rocky, too detailed. This one has too much noisy spots, too much darkness. It'll be super noticeable. My volcanic textures, I don't have as many. I don't think this would make a good path tile. Why is this so difficult? That's still as busy. Not quite. That's kind of nice, like a rocky path. Kind of want to drop the color of that a little bit, give it some shade. Gives it this little edge. Don't want it to be too dark. There we go, kind of like that. A little bit lighter. It has to look non-shaded, like the walls are too shaded so there's depth. And I'll grab my inner here. I've kind of got this dirt path I can use. So I'll save this as volcanic dirt tile. Volcanic dirt. I'm going to replace that old texture with the terraform tile. Volcanic dirt C. Back to my ground tiles. It's basically going to be the same thing as the sand tile. So I'll just replace all of the parts with my volcanic dirt pieces. Voila! Volcanic dirt and volcanic dirt C. Don't want any of these because there's not going to be water on the volcanic planets. And it should terraform to the ash tiles. And then we'll copy this, paste it over here. Oh, I don't even need this one right now. So I'll change this to 1. Da, da, da. Okay, now I have this dirt pathway tile that I can use on my volcanic worlds. Now, why is it not... Oh yeah, this isn't set up to terraform to these yet. And I was going to match all of my terraform types. So this actually has to terraform to these as well. So now it won't, oops, now they won't get this solid edge, they'll terraform correctly. They're not set up to ignore these yet, which they will be. So then I can put paths right along the lava tiles. These are kind of fun tiles to mess with. They're super simple. So yeah. Easy to draw with, and I can design a whole bunch of different maps with these different types of tiles. So that's, I guess, the basis for my lava worlds. I've got my terrain for grassy planets and desert planets. Those kind of use the same tiles, so they're kind of associated with each other. And then the magma worlds are their own thing. I'm going to make several other types too. Where am I at right now? That might be all I'm going to cover in this video at the moment. Just building my tile set library. I wanted to give at least a couple more examples of how this program works and how my texture and tile set workflow goes. I'll start with the material or texture, usually something simple that I can build out of these substance and noise labs and stuff in Genetica. Then I can bring those textures over here to the world creator and resize them. Excuse me. Resize them, blend them together to get my terrain terraform tiles with my template gradients and all that. But I will jump back on in a little bit, probably to cover some more stuff related to tiles or working on the game. Either or. We'll see how I feel in a little bit. In the meantime, if you haven't gone to screamingbrainstudios.com, there's a link in the description if you don't want to type it. And you can get all kinds of free stuff. There's lots of free tutorials, lots of free tools you can download. And on the downloads page are all kinds of free textures and buttons and interface elements and graphics. They're all public domain, totally free to download and use however you want. If there's anything you guys want to see in any of these videos, just let me know. Until next time.